Coach, we saw for the most part 5 receivers against Colorado State. Is that kind of the ideal number you have going forward, or is it going to kind of vary week to week?
It'll probably vary week to week depending on the game plan, depending on who we need. We have a lot of guys that can get in the game and produce. So it depends on the game. You know, you might see a couple other guys.
But would you say those 5 guys are going to be pretty much focal points almost every week?
Yeah, those guys are kind of a staple of the receiving corps. But we do have other guys that can come in and play. But those 5 has showcased a lot for us, you know, from spring to fall camp, and they're doing good for us.
What's the most you think you would go to in a given game?
We'll unload everybody if we need to, so it all depends.
Just to ask Coach Dickert about this, but we want to specifically ask about Carlos. You know, you see him first career game, 5 catches, 58 yards. It just doesn't seem like there's a stage too big for him so far. Obviously, we'll see him on his biggest stage this week, but what did you see out of him kind of just taking the reins as a freshman and being able to play at that level?
Yeah, so Carlos has been here since January, right? So he doesn't view himself as a freshman. He doesn't view himself, you know, as a young guy. He knows he came in with a plan. Like, I want to come in and earn a spot. So he's a vet to us, to me, to the room. Guys treat him like a vet, so it's not surprising what he did, the way that he came in from his mentality standpoint.
Lincoln put up his best game as a Coug on Saturday. What does he mean to this program?
Oh, man, he means a lot. I believe second time being a captain. Last year he was a captain, and even that standpoint, you didn't get a lot of touches. So he's a leader in the sense of he'll do anything that, you know, we as coaches say, as the players need. He's a true team player. So he's a focal point of us being a Coug. And he represented it well.
At least from your group, have you seen maybe this sense of urgency that you would want coming into a big game like this? Or?
Yeah, we had a great practice on Tuesday. We had a great practice today. They're a competitive bunch, right? So I like where we're at, and they compete with each other, right? There's times we get a competition on who's getting, you know, what sets, what plays, and those guys embrace it, you know, so it's exciting to see.
I've heard a lot about DT speed. Who do you think is the fastest receiver in the room you got?
You're asking me, or you want to ask them, right? There was an actual race a couple weeks ago during fall camp, and DT was a part of it, but I'll let that, you know, stay, you know, in our room.
Okay. I know Jaden Hicks is not a receiver, not in your room, obviously, but I'm curious, like, when you've run into him, what is his personality like, and what's like, you know, having him be around the team? Yeah,
Jaden Hicks is a, you know, funny guy. He's a guy that's open. He does a great job with the younger guys. He does a great job with the receivers in terms of what he sees after one-on-one. He's an overall good human being, a good football player, obviously.
Do you feel like he kind of rubs off on them in a way that's like, hey, like, I'm the opposite position as you, I can show you a thing or two? I don't know how that usually goes.
Yeah, we have a phrase here is iron sharpen irons, right? So when we go against each other, especially on Tuesday when we have our one-on-one session where those guys compete. Lincoln competes with them, DT competes with them, Isaiah Hamlin competes with them, and after reps are over, they kind of talk about it, like, hey, what did you see? What can I do better, right? So that's what we mean in terms of iron sharpen iron, and so it's good overall from him and our guys in our room as well.